At the start of the story, Mike misses a very urgent news broadcast playing on TV. The news was reporting that an unknown virus, similar to rabies, has recently caused chaos across the entire world. But Mike hadn't even seen this news. As usual, he went out to buy groceries. He was still wondering why so many ambulances were visible today. Within a short while, he reached the supermarket. Mike was casually doing his shopping, but when he looked up, he found that everyone else was stuffing their carts like crazy. Mike didn't pay much attention to this. He just bought a few things he needed and quickly went home to feed his cat. After that, he took out his late wife's favorite bracelet and put it on the cat. Actually, just a few days earlier when he and his wife were returning home, they had gotten into an accident. His wife was injured so severely that she died on the spot. Now only Mike and his cat were left in the house, relying on each other. Then, as usual, he put all the groceries in the fridge and didn't find out anything was wrong until that night when his sister sent him a video. His brother-in-law, who worked in a government department, had received news that this virus was far more dangerous than what the TV news was reporting, and that its spread rate was faster than anyone imagined. The government has now set up a temporary safe zone for families on a small island. His sister told Mike to come quickly and meet her so they could all take shelter together in that safe zone. Mike didn't want to go, but after his sister kept insisting, he finally decided to take shelter in Europe with his sister's family. Early the next morning, Mike set off for the airport with his cat. At this point, Mike still had no idea how dangerous this virus really was. Within a short time, he reached the airport and casually bought something to drink beforehand. But while he was standing in line to board the flight, the system checking boarding tickets at the gate suddenly malfunctioned. At that moment, Mike thought it was just some minor machine glitch, but the very next moment, he saw that all flights had been canceled. While everyone was panicking, suddenly everyone's phones received an emergency alert at the same time. Because the virus was spreading so rapidly, the country had now banned people from going to any public places, and all citizens were told to return home immediately and quarantine themselves. By this time, complete chaos and a stampede had broken out at the airport. Just then, his sister called, and Mike quickly picked up the phone to check on her. "Get home quickly. Stay inside until we know more about the situation." Only now did Mike finally understand how serious the situation really was. Seeing that a riot was about to break out in the airport hall, everyone suddenly started running toward the exit. Seeing this, Mike also ran outside, following the crowd. But as he was driving back home, he saw that the highway was already jammed terribly. As far as the eye could see, there were only cars fleeing to save their lives. Seeing that his home was now only 6 km away, a worried Mike decided to leave his car there and walk home instead. Mike walked from morning until evening. When he reached his front door, utterly exhausted, he saw that soldiers had surrounded his neighbor's house and were keeping tight guard there. There was even a plastic tunnel built at the door. He quickly walked forward and asked, "What happened, brother?" But the soldier standing nearby completely ignored his question and just told him to go back home immediately and not gather a crowd here. Then he saw a very terrifying sight. He saw that his neighbor had been fitted with a special kind of mask, and soldiers were bringing him out from inside the house. Seeing his neighbor's continuous screams and convulsing body made Mike's soul tremble. Now he understood just how dangerous this virus really was. Even after returning home, Mike still hadn't been able to shake off that fear. Early the next morning, Mike's sleep was broken by his phone ringing. It turned out his sister had brought more bad news, because this time, the virus was spreading even faster. The government still wasn't able to control it, so they had issued an order to impose continuous lockdowns in all cities. However, to stop the virus from spreading, the government had set up temporary quarantine zones around the city, and soon the army would be sent to evacuate everyone from there. So no matter what happens, you stay home. Although Mike had promised his sister he would stay home, very little food was left in the house. Thinking that he would need to survive alone for a long time now, Mike immediately went to the supermarket to gather some supplies. But as soon as he entered the supermarket, he saw that all the food on the shelves had already been looted. Mike had no other option, so he picked up whatever scattered food he could find. But before he could even see what it was, an old man snatched it from him. Mike wanted to argue, but seeing that the man was elderly, he said nothing. He just quickly grabbed whatever supplies were left. After that, he went into a nearby shop and stuffed all the scattered food from the shelves into his bag. But just as he stepped out of the shop with his supplies, he saw a policeman running toward him from a distance, clutching his own arm. And then he locked himself inside a room. Mike still hadn't understood what was going on when he saw people running around screaming. And then he saw that someone had knocked a policeman to the ground. Seeing this, Mike was about to pick up an iron rod and step forward, but the very next moment, he froze in place out of fear. That infected man came roaring and running toward him. But in the next instant, the policeman shot him. Mike hadn't even recovered from that shock when he saw that the policeman inside the house had also fallen victim to the virus. He wanted to step forward to check on the injured policeman, but the policeman told Mike to leave immediately. After that, the policeman gave up and shot himself. Mike returned home. He pulled down all the curtains. Then he installed an iron grill on the courtyard wall and finally hammered nails into all the door latches to secure them firmly. To keep an eye on what was happening outside, he found a camera in the storeroom so that if trouble suddenly arose outside, he'd have a little time to prepare. By the time he finished setting everything up, it was already past midnight. Mike looked out the window and saw that the army was slowly evacuating the people nearby. Soon after, he heard knocking at the door outside. Mike quickly hid in a corner and held his breath, and in the end, he managed to avoid being found in the soldiers' search without any danger. Before his eyes, half a month passed. On streets that were once bustling, not even a bird was flapping its wings now. But Mike received no help from his sister. With the city's network cut off, the food in the fridge was also about to run out. If he had waited any longer, Mike might have starved to death right there in the house. To stay alive, Mike had to take the risk and go outside to search for supplies. Without any weapon, he didn't dare go too far. He could only sneak into nearby neighbors' houses to search, but he combed through several houses in a row and found not even a little bit of food. As he moved toward the next house without giving up, he was shocked to see that someone was still living in this house. In fact, an old woman hadn't been able to leave because both her legs were disabled. Before the virus spread, her children had lied to her, saying they would first send her to the safe zone and then come back for her. But she had no idea that as soon as they left, they would turn off their phones. Even the rescue team had abandoned her upon seeing her damaged legs. The two of them had a bit of a conversation. After that, the old woman immediately asked if he had found any food. He said nothing, just shook his head. Mike said he had searched an entire street but hadn't found even a little food. Just as Mike felt he was about to die of hunger, the old woman calmly said she could help. Saying this, she called Mike over to her bedside. As it turned out, the old woman kept watch outside her window every day, so she knew exactly which house had food stored in it. Sure enough, following the path she described, Mike started finding things, and within a short while he had filled his bag. In one house, he even found a motorcycle covered in dust. Once he had the bike, his range of movement gradually expanded too. Within half a day, Mike had gathered a lot of supplies, and in this way, the two of them spent some more time supporting each other. But that same night, when they finished their dinner by candlelight, they suddenly received a radio message. If people gathered there, the risk of infection would increase even further. The old woman said that place wasn't necessarily actually safe. If even one infected person got in, everything would be over. Although Mike agreed with what she was saying, their food supply was running very low. They had to go out and see the situation for themselves. But as the two of them were discussing how to leave from there, the old woman said she couldn't go. She knew her legs didn't work and that she had great difficulty walking, so she didn't want to become a burden for Mike. Hearing this, Mike said he wouldn't leave her alone and would try his best to take her along with him. Early the next morning, Mike woke up quickly and started packing his things to leave. But when he picked up the walkie-talkie to talk to her, there was no response from the other side. Mike waited a while, but there was still no movement. Suddenly something felt wrong to him, so he immediately ran to the old woman's house to check on the situation. But he found that the old woman had taken medicine and killed herself. That kind woman hadn't wanted to become a burden on Mike, and she had left this world forever. Although Mike was very sad, he still had to leave and head toward the assembly point. But as he was crossing the road, a zombie suddenly knocked him to the ground. Fortunately, Mike managed to stop it just in time. The next moment, his nail gun accidentally slipped out of his hand and fell away. Mike used all his strength to hold off its attack. He shoved it back hard, then kicked it away forcefully and quickly climbed up onto the roof of a car. The zombie grabbed his leg and pulled him straight down, then opened its mouth to bite him. Luckily, Mike was wearing a thick wetsuit. Seeing the right moment, Mike opened the car door, pushed it out with a shove, and then threw it off with a powerful punch. Finally, giving up, Mike had to shoot the zombie straight through the head with his flare gun. This woman was someone from their own community whom Mike had seen before. Before leaving, Mike took out that woman's ID card He thought that if this disaster ever ended someday, he could use this ID card to find out her name and have it written on her grave. Seeing a zombie inside the community was solid proof that staying there was truly not safe at all anymore. So he sent a message to his sister, telling her he was heading to the refugee camp by the sea. He wrote that if their luck held, they would meet again within a few days, and he hoped to find some place with network coverage along the way so she could receive his message quickly. Before leaving the city, Mike went once to check on that quarantine zone, and his brother-in-law's words turned out to be completely true. That place had been totally destroyed. He took a narrow little road to get to the port, but he ran into zombies on that route too. For a moment his attention slipped, and he crashed into a pile of corpses. The vehicle flipped over and he fell down along with his cat. The vehicle was now useless, so Mike had to sling his cat's bag over his shoulder and continue on foot. This place wasn't very far from the port. He gathered all his strength and ran, bursting into the port. He locked the door and held back the entire horde of zombies outside. He had just caught his breath when another big problem arose. His own boat was missing from there. The assumption was that the agent had taken it and fled. After this, Mike went into a shop that sold fishing equipment and got some useful supplies from there. He found some useful things there. He also managed to get another bullet for his harpoon gun. Coming out of the shop, he saw a boat sitting in the water, so he thought he'd try it out, and he swam over to that boat. The boat itself was useless. Just then, some sounds started coming from a small cabin built inside the boat. As soon as Mike opened the door, he saw a small child inside who had turned into a zombie because of the virus, and it looked absolutely terrifying. After heading out to sea, Mike sent his sister another message. Everything's destroyed, but don't worry, I haven't lost hope. Continuing on like this, night fell, and suddenly Mike's boat stopped. It wasn't that the fuel had run out, rather, the engine had developed some fault. When he pulled the engine up to check, he found that two blades of the propeller had broken off. At that very moment, a woman's corpse appeared in the water. Surely that woman's hair had gotten tangled in the propeller, and it must have broken off from that pulling force. Just then, a patrol boat appeared coming from a distance, and Mike asked them for help. But when the boat came closer, Mike saw that the people on it looked extremely fierce and didn't seem like good people at all. They told Mike there was no need to be afraid. This patrol boat had come out from the sea refugee camp to search for supplies, and they could take him back to the camp with them right now. The camp's captain was a Russian man who only spoke Russian, and Mike couldn't understand a single word he said. There was a translator there named Victor. Victor's father was from Ukraine and his mother was from Mexico, so he knew both Russian and Spanish. Victor explained that the captain was asking whether Mike was a local resident and how he had ended up in the middle of the sea. Mike replied that his home was in a nearby community and that he had heard on the radio that this sea camp was headed to the Canary Islands, so that's why he had come here. When Victor translated this, the captain told Mike that where he was talking about going was no longer possible to reach. The army had sealed off all the ports around the entire island and wasn't letting any outside boat get close either. They then gave Mike a room to stay in. At midnight, Mike's sleep was broken by screaming coming from outside. He peeked out the window and found that some more people, fleeing to save their lives, had arrived there. From their voices, it seemed like they were from an Arab country. The next morning, Victor came to Mike again and said the captain was calling for him. He needed to go right now, this very moment. Mike asked him about the people from last night. Why weren't they visible since this morning? Victor said, "No one came here yesterday except you. Don't ask why, just remember that no one came here." Mike wasn't foolish either. He was certain now that some very big secret was hidden in this camp. After telling the captain where supplies could be found nearby, he went back to Victor. Victor made it clear that if Mike wanted to stay alive on this boat, he needed to stop asking unnecessary questions. Mike felt that staying in this place any longer was absolutely not a good idea, so he decided to escape from there, and he also started encouraging Victor to escape along with him. Mike said there was a church-run hospital nearby that had a helicopter. If they could get that helicopter, they could reach the Canary Islands directly. "My sister is right there. She'll come receive us." Victor didn't agree with this, and Mike didn't push him too hard either. He thought, "If you won't come, I'll just leave with my cat alone." Taking advantage of the darkness of night, he put on his thick wetsuit, stuffed the cat into the bag, and set out to steal a speedboat from there. As soon as he reached the lower part of the boat, he spotted those same Arab people from yesterday. He remembered that two men men and 2 women had come, but now only the 2 men were tied up there, and there was no sign of the 2 women at all. Mike tried to untie and rescue them, but the 2 men thought they were being taken away to be killed, and out of fear they started screaming loudly. Their voices alerted the guards who were patrolling. Seeing someone running, a guard fired straight at them. At exactly that moment, Victor rebelled. He grabbed that guard and snatched his gun away. He did this because he had understood what Mike was saying, and he too had decided to escape along with Mike. Meanwhile, the captain also arrived there and shot the other remaining man straight in the head as well. Mike started the boat, and Victor began firing to cover him, but the shooting from the other side was very intense. During this, a guard's bullet hit Victor in the hand. After this, they somehow brought the boat to the shore near the highway, since they might find vehicles there. Most of the vehicles were locked. There was a zombie sitting inside one car. Mike killed that zombie and took control of the car. Now the 2 of them, along with the cat, set off completely on the road heading toward the hospital. Suddenly, a zombie came running from the side and jumped onto their car, which startled Mike badly. He shook the zombie off, then grabbed Victor's gun and shot it. But the loud sound of the gunshot drew all the other nearby zombies toward them too. They ran and burst into the hospital, hiding inside an operation theater. Mike wanted to remove the bullet from Victor's hand, but there were no tools in that room, so he had to go elsewhere to find tools, and he left his cat with Victor so he wouldn't be alone. Meanwhile, Mike heard the sound of someone talking in the room next door. He simply asked, just like that, whether anyone else was alive in the hospital. As soon as he shouted this, a real answer came from the other side. They were the voices of children, and there was more than one of them. After this, Mike went up the stairs to see them. This time, he heard a child telling another person that a man had come downstairs. Mike immediately told them where he was. "We were in the operation room." He was still talking when suddenly some zombies broke in. He had no idea about the layout of the place, so he started running like crazy wherever he saw a path. After making a huge loop and finally getting back to the operation theater, he saw that Victor was missing from there. The zombies were just about to break down the door, but luckily, the children and a nurse arrived at exactly the right time. They opened the emergency exit and pulled Mike out to safety. Victor was there with them too. Among the survivors alive in the hospital were 3 children, a doctor, and a nurse. When the doctor saw that Victor had been shot, he assumed these people must be bad people. But the nurse trusted Mike. Just looking at his face made it clear he wasn't a bad man. While the doctor was performing surgery on Victor, the 3 children's attention became fixed on Mike's cat. They wanted to touch it but were too shy to ask. Mike knew children love playing with cats, so he invited them over himself to touch it, also telling them the cat was very well behaved and didn't bite. The nurse came out and told Mike the surgery had gone quite well. Victor just had a slight fever, but since he'd taken medicine, he'd be fine soon. She also asked Mike what they had come there to do. Mike explained they had come looking for a helicopter. "We had no idea the helicopter wasn't even here anymore." The nurse said the helicopter was actually right there. Its location had just been changed. The hospital had helipads on both the front and back sides, and the helicopter was currently parked on the background, but the path leading to the back was on fire. There was so much thick smoke filling that area that it couldn't escape, so no one could get through that route to reach it. When night fell, Mike wandered into ward number 8. His wife had taken her last breath in that very room. That scene from a year ago felt to him as if it had happened only yesterday. It was all still playing before his eyes even now. The little cat seemed to have understood his feelings too, so she ran over to him. Mike took out his wife's bracelet and tied it to that very hospital bed. This time, after leaving here, there was no telling when he'd return, so it was time to say goodbye forever now. The next morning, when he went up to the hospital roof, he got network signal. His sister hadn't been able to reach him, so she had recorded and sent videos for him to watch whenever he got them. In the early videos, she was just talking about her life, but gradually, his sister had also started getting scared. She was afraid something might happen to Mike. He hadn't even finished watching the video when the sound of gunfire started coming from the ground below. He peeked down and found out that the captain and his men had arrived there. If they were caught, death was certain. Mike felt there was no more time to waste. They had to head for the helicopter right now. This very moment, as usual, he put the cat back in the bag. After crossing that burning section, they reached the path that connected directly to the background. As soon as they opened the door, a zombie lunged straight at them. Its aim was completely accurate, and it bit the doctor directly. Mike and the nurse together cut down that zombie and wanted to check the doctor's wound, but the doctor said, "Forget about me. and don't waste any more time at all. Quickly take these children and get out. Right outside the back door of that path was the field where the helicopter stood, but walking straight there was completely impossible. Mike asked Victor how long he thought it would take to start the helicopter. There were a lot of storage racks lying around there. Together they formed a big circular barrier out of those racks, placed the children in the middle, and left only one side open as an exit path. This method really worked well. They were enclosed like inside a sturdy iron drum, and the zombies couldn't get in at all. Mike and the nurse fought together very effectively and cleared out every zombie that came at them. After reaching the helicopter, Victor boarded first with the children. Mike held the door and sent the nurse in first too, but this helicopter wasn't the type that could start up instantly, so Mike had to stay down on the ground and fight off zombies to buy time. Just as their main defense was about to break, the captain arrived there with his men. They wiped out all the zombies on the ground and then told Victor and everyone else to come down from the helicopter. Mike cleverly hid himself behind an iron door so the zombies couldn't see him. When such a huge horde of zombies poured onto the ground, they destroyed everything. The captain and his men couldn't hold out for long and were completely wiped out. Meanwhile, Mike took advantage of that exact moment while they were fighting and carved out a path for himself. Victor had also lifted the helicopter up by then. He threw a rope down so Mike could climb up. This victory involved a very big risk. After this, they all flew the helicopter and headed toward those islands. So let's end today's video right here. Hope you enjoyed it. Please support with a like. I'm thanking you all in advance for that. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.